This video is aimed at people who create music or videos or anything creative, but if you're feeling God tugging your heart to something bigger, this is for you as well. It applies, trust me, it does. Let me set this up in my own story. I'm a Christian music artist from Canada, but I'm also a music producer and a content creator. And if you've been following me for a while and you see that I'm hitting the radio charts across Canada and my Spotify's doing great and my YouTube's doing good and I'm sitting in a beautiful studio, it might look like I have everything put together and everything was maybe just handed to me, but that's just not the case. My story looked like a lot of struggle, a lot of confusion and hurt and emotional pain that still pops up from time to time in my own life, even today. But I did learn some stuff along the way. See, my journey started back in 2009 when I started a Christian rock band and we were going to take over the world. We were going to be the next biggest thing. And we worked hard. We released 3 albums, we did touring, we hit some radio charts, we did all the things, and it still didn't really take off. So after almost 10 years of that, I stepped away and I decided, wait a second, I need to reassess what this looks like in my life. And while I stepped back, I realized I wasn't putting God in the picture. I was just trying to be the man and look big and important. A lot of people have those dreams to look important, to look big, and they don't even think about God. Maybe they don't even serve God. But I was a Christian. Now, I had my own faith crisis here and there, and if you watch some of my other videos, you might know my story, and it's quite incredible what God has brought us through. But I wanted to be on top, and I thought that if I looked important and if I hit these certain metrics, people would respect me more. And then more opportunity would come, and it would just be a snowball effect. I'm just gonna give you the hint up front. That doesn't work. That's a recipe for disaster. It's soul crushing. Especially rejection in this industry, in the creative industry in general. You're gonna be rejected 1,000 times over the one time you get accepted. Legit, that just comes with the territory. But it's about building the thick skin and relying on the person who created you and gave you that gift to get to that next level. I've done a lot of videos in the past about my story, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but long story short, I jumped into learning music production. I learned how to do pretty much everything myself, and now I'm a fully independent Christian music artist. I'm currently on the Christian music radio charts across Canada. I'm doing great on Spotify. My YouTube's doing good. I'm jumping back into touring. I'm really excited about going across Canada next year and seeing life around you and not just being stuck online. But to get to the point I'm at now, I had to make some shifts. So let's turn this into your story now. You're a creative, you're a musician, you're a videographer, you're a businessman or a businesswoman that wants to take over the world. Maybe it's not in the arts. Maybe you have a bakery that you're trying to start or really expand your business. What is it? Doesn't matter what it is. All the same principles apply because God's word is the same yesterday, today, and forever. But if you're like me a couple years ago and you feel like God was preparing you for something and you just don't know what it is, and it's exciting but it's scary because you know it's going to be uncomfortable and you know that you need to make some changes to see it happen, yeah, that's my story. Go back and you can watch some of my videos about it. It's scary. But sometimes in those moments when you feel like there's something big ahead, and then all of a sudden the crushing weight of the world just hits you, and it feels like the opposite. Like, wait, God hasn't called me. What's going on here? I'm making changes. I'm seeing maybe a little bit of growth in this area, but then all of a sudden it's just like decimated. What is going on? Or maybe you feel like you've been stunted in your growth. Maybe you're blaming other people for your slow growth. Maybe you've taken the step, but things aren't happening at the rate that you thought they would. Here's what I want you to take through the whole 2026 year. God is more than likely going to use your gift in a way that you didn't see coming. And the worst thing that you can do is assume that God is done with your current gift idea, the idea that he placed in your head or maybe you came up with. The worst thing you can do is think that was for nothing. Maybe God's actually building some roots in you. Maybe there's some groundwork that needed to be done before the plant could grow, before the fruit was seen. Isaiah 43 says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" Maybe you're perceiving it right now. "I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." He's making a way. This was prophetic back in Isaiah's time of what Israel looked like. But let's translate that to what your life looks like. right now. Maybe 2025 was your wilderness season. Let's not waste that season. This took me a long time to learn. Sometimes you think your gift is going to be used in a certain way when God's preparing you for something different. Maybe you needed to have that gift and really explore it and expound it to get to that next gift that he already has waiting for you. And I get it. It's frustrating. It really is. Sometimes it feels like you just reached the top of the mountain. You pulled yourself up and you looked over and you just realized you were just at the next ledge and there was a whole other mountain disappearing into the clouds. I'm not gonna lie, I felt that way pretty much this whole year. But I know one thing, I'm stronger right now than I've ever been before in my faith, in the knowledge of the music industry and in the creative industry and growth and projection and seeing what God's doing in this, but not being tight-fisted, being open-handed and saying, God, if you want to take this away tomorrow and you want to do something else with my life, it's all yours. The breath in me is not mine. He's the giver of it. There's nothing in me that I've created. It's all his. And before I move on, like I did mention, I'm a Christian music artist, but I'm also a producer. And there's a lot of things that happens if you're a Christian music artist, songwriter, whatever it is, in the process, people are getting wrong now. I've noticed this a lot lately, and I'm here to help. I've created a free gift for you. It's called the Christian Music Artist Release Checklist, and it's just a free download. You can just click in the link in my description down below, and it's yours. It's a free gift, but it's just gonna walk you through the steps just to make sure that you're not making any mistakes. There are some pitfalls along the way nowadays that if you don't kind of play the game correctly, you're gonna be completely behind, especially in 2026 and beyond. So I would encourage you, click on that link. It's yours, it's free. Let's move on. So I'm believing in 2026 that God's going to revive things in your life and in my life that possibly we had put on the back burner. Maybe it was an old dream you had or gifts that you shelved and you just put it away. Maybe you had an idea at one point, but then life hit you hard. Not to over spiritualize what I'm doing here, but there's something prophetic about what I just said there. That sometimes you think life's going to go a certain way, and when it doesn't, you just think that, okay, we're done that. That's over with. But maybe the next time you revisit that old plan, you've gained enough knowledge and enough roots to make it work. And that's kind of how God's kingdom works too. Like, you need roots to grow, but you also need the right environment for it to flourish. Maybe you had the roots, but you were in the wrong environment. Maybe you were in the right environment, but you didn't have the roots, right? Maybe 2026 will show you which ones you need to work on, or maybe they're both going to come together beautifully. Who knows? Now, if you're a reader like I am, there's a book called The War of Art by Steven Pressfield, I believe it is. And it is a fantastic read. It doesn't take you long to get through, but I encourage every creative to read it. There's a part in the book that talks about resistance and how us as human beings, we're our own worst enemies. Like, you're not fighting against the work that needs to be done or the industry that you're trying to overtake. You're actually fighting against yourself. And he breaks it down beautifully. Anyway, I don't want to go into it and give it any spoilers away on it, but read it. The War of Art is called. Steven Pressfield. Fantastic read. But the premise is the resistance isn't showing you it's time to quit. The resistance is showing you that you're on the right track and it's time to actually double down and do the work. And I believe he actually had a follow-up book called Do the Work that is also fantastic. No affiliation, just saying. So if you're feeling that resistance in you, even as you're watching this video and having that like, I could never, I don't know how to, you're closer than you think. We're also in a weird place for creatives in general, that with the whole AI thing. But I believe in 2026 and beyond, there's two things we need to do as creatives. One, we need to kind of fight the AI machine, and two, we actually need to accept the AI machine and adapt to it. That seems counterintuitive. Basically, there's tools that you can be using to really grow, and there's also tools that we need to reject that can destroy the industry. It's kind of a balancing act there. But if God placed a gift within you, I think he already knew we were going to live in the AI age, and he wouldn't have placed that gift within us if we couldn't use it for his kingdom. So don't be afraid. Speaking of gifts, 1 Peter says, Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Did you get that? We've all been given gifts. What are they for? To serve others. And in doing so, you're being a faithful steward to God Almighty. So if you know what it is God's calling you to do, or you have an idea or an inkling, or you know that there's just something big, but you don't know what it is, I have some homework for you. I want you to pay attention to the quiet things that God is stirring within you. That usually means that he's building something. There's something growing within you. It's still in its infancy. It's like a pregnancy, right? There's a baby growing inside, but you can't see it. But then there's some fruit that there is a baby, because the stomach gets bigger, then the baby's born. Let God do his thing so the birthing process will be to its fullest. Stay faithful, stay expectant. Don't sleep on what God has placed within you. Keep God first. And subscribe to my channel. I would love to know your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. God bless.